Welcome to Guitar Vacation. First, thank you for everybody who has stopped in and talked a little guitar with me. It's kind of fun to see guys bounce ideas back and know that there's more of us out there that are toiling away doing the bedroom guitar thing. I'm going to make a video about why I dropped the pick and switched to playing fingers only. It's a discussion I've had many times, and I'll talk about why I did it and, just kind of pluses and minuses of why you may consider doing it or not doing it, depending on what you do as a player. So let's take a little listen, and then we'll get back into the dialogue. Dear Diary, my pick was mean to me, so I threw it away. I'll try to explain this without it being a Dear Diary, but if I've been playing, give or take, 30 years, I think it's pretty close to right on it. 20 of that I used a pick, the first 20 of course, and then around 10 years ago I made the commitment to ditch the pick and only use my fingers. And here's why I made that choice. As I grew up as a player, I was big into alternate picking, played all the classic rock, eventually doing heavy stuff where I was doing the chug rhythms and all that. And alternate picking was a big mover in my playing in general, solo playing, everything. Not to say I didn't use other techniques, but I did, but definitely had a lot of alternate picking going on. And as I kind of grew out of the metal stuff and I had always wanted to move more and more into a fusion kind of phrasing, and I was always attracted to that pretty early, and it was out of reach for me largely. I didn't understand the harmony, but really I didn't understand how important the timing was, and how to swing and start your phrases on the and 1 and 2 and stuff like that can add a lot to pretty simple phrasing to make it sound jazzier. Anyway, I started to notice that anytime I would, in my playing, go into a alternate pick phrase or passage, that I would very quickly fall into some kind of pattern or lick that I'd been doing probably since I was a teenager. And, you know, I knew, hey, that's not where you want to go. And I started thinking about, well, how can I do this new stuff with the pick? And it was pretty obvious that I was going to have to totally relearn picking technique to go where I wanted to go. And that was very unattractive to me, and I really felt like I could use my fingers instead, which would be learning something new instead of relearning the pick, which I would have to undo habits that are 20 years ingrained in me, all to relearn. That just seemed like an extra step, the whole undoing my alternate picking. And part of it was because I already used my fingers. So when I learned to play guitar originally from my dad, he taught me, you know, various techniques and kind of how to do the folk style finger picking type stuff. And I'd done that all along as needed. So it wasn't like my fingers, I wasn't using them. And I incorporated a little bit of hybrid picking when I was still using the pick. And it wasn't that hard of a choice when it came down to it. It was, I dropped the pick, it automatically is a rut buster that takes away stuff that I'm really trying to lose anyway. I don't have to undo any technique practice, and my fingers that I'm already using, I can just rely on them at learning a new skill and don't have anything to undo. And as soon as I did that, it was a very positive change in my playing. Like I said, the stuff that it cut out was stuff I wanted to get away from anyway. And pretty quickly, just because I had some built-in already finger technique, I was already able to do pretty well as soon as I put the pick down. That's not to say there weren't things that that were disadvantages, and there wasn't some work that needed to be done for me to become a finger player. What I will say about that is I had to figure out what my primary mover was going to be in playing things challenging, like really how to do solos and single note lines. How was I going to approach that? And I was already, could play some legato. I definitely wasn't that great of a legato player because I had alternate picked so long. But I knew there were some elements of legato that I already liked the sound of. It helped that I was listening to a lot of Alan Holdsworth, and he uses a pick but does legato, and I was never able to get that really even legato sound with a pick because of the pick attack. And oddly enough, I started woodshedding my legato, and I noticed it was a lot better and smoother because I didn't have that pick attack to worry about. So, we're already have multiple advantages I've run into using my fingers. The other advantage that I noticed pretty quickly was things that were difficult to play with a pick, specifically phrases where you had to swap strings at odd points and figure out if you're going to downstroke or switch to an upstroke and start the phrase. All that went away. And I never sat down and said, okay, this finger is going to do this. I just used the finger that seemed appropriate. And what was cool about it is if I ran into one of those crisscross patterns that would normally jam me up and I'd really have to figure out how I was going to use a pick, all I did was say, hey, buddy finger. And that buddy finger is whatever finger you're not already using. Kick in and you pick that note. And that is really as specific as my technique got. So one of the things that would always cross me up with a pick is when I ran into one of those hard passages where you get cross up switching strings, it would throw the timing of the line off. And the timing so important, especially if you're trying to sound jazzy at all. So when I employed my highly specified buddy finger technique, it solved that problem. And sometimes it was the middle finger, sometimes it was the ring finger, sometimes it was the index finger. But I never had to sit and say, what finger am I going to use when this comes up? It was just buddy finger. And then whichever finger did it. And that really helped me out a lot, eliminating a problem that would have been pretty doggone hard to woodshed my way out of with a pick with 20 years of technique ingrained. I would say for anybody that's even looking at making that choice, what you can already do with your fingers before you drop the pick, if you're already hybrid picking or have played finger picking stuff all along like I did, and you have some skill in that area, that may make that choice a little easier. And if you are starting from ground zero with your fingers, you're going to have a tougher decision to make. I think most guitar players that have played for a while, even if they're big on using a pick, have picked up a guitar and just kind of strummed around, not really with any intentions of making the finger part a big deal. And you can do that and tell pretty quick how far down that road you already are with your fingers, just by whether you've been using them or not. So I would definitely take that into account if I were looking at using my fingers and dropping the pick. Couple downsides or things that I had to give up that aren't really much of an option. I can't play metal. I used to, like I said, do the whole chug thing. And now I can't even do what I used to, because that's a diminishing skill, doing those quick palm muted triplets and all the things that go into metal rhythm playing, and that's not an option for me anymore. But I chosen already. Hey, I'm getting away from doing that. If you're somebody that wants to keep some of the pick muscle memory so you can do it when you need it, I think you could probably serve both of those masters pretty easily without just throwing out the pick totally. That I had to really signify the commitment to myself and what I was doing. A lot of it was a mental communication to myself that these things that you used to do, that you thought were cool, that you don't think are cool anymore, you're leaving them behind, and you're so committed to it, you're gonna leave the pick, the tool, and the skill associated with it behind. And not only will you not be doing it, but you'll eventually not be able to do it. That's how I had to mentally approach it. Not everybody's has to play head games with themselves to get commitment to something. So that's something you can consider too. Is hey, I can do the finger thing, but there's nothing wrong with running through some stuff once a week, a couple times a week, to make sure I can still pick. I don't think you've lost anything at that point. I'll end by saying some of the things I gained I never considered, and that was all dynamics and tone and touch. And using my fingers only opened up a whole new world of that. And tones that I had wanted to get, I was already talking about the smooth legato, or like a more Eric Johnson-ish lack of attack I never could do with a pick. that came a lot easier with my fingers because of just the inherent dynamics that came about when that was all I had to work with. And lastly, I've also developed, and other finger guys that I've had the discussion with echo the same thing. There's always some pick approximation techniques. That's a term I made up, meaning fake pick techniques, where you're faking like you have a pick. And it can be as simple as, doing a Stevie Ray Vaughan bend when you want to rake. I'm just hitting the string with my fingernail as if it were a pick, and really I don't have to hold my fingers any special way. I just hold them together like I used to with a pick. And that's something that I never had to develop. I just realized I was doing it one day. And you can kind of still do some faux alternate picking, if you will. Like, it doesn't sound as crisp as real alternate picking. But if there's something that really needs that to sound right, you can fake it or use pick approximation technique to get that more picked sound when you need it. And I think everybody develops their own little tricks as far as that goes. And like I said, I never had to think about developing them. There's some finger players that utilize the two finger. I think that's kind of a classical technique, maybe. I never did that. I never really found the need for it. And sometimes what's really weird is when I used to hybrid pick, I'd hold my pick in my index finger, so my middle finger would be my hybrid picking finger, and with my thumb and that finger, I can it's a very similar motion to how I used to alternate pick. I can't do it very fast is the thing. But really anything I want to do faster than that, I just do the legato thing. And I committed to that as my primary mover for anything that needed to be executed in that manner. So anyway, if anybody has thought about dropping the pick or doing more just finger technique, that's my take from how I came at it and the things that I discovered, the good things, the things that came easy, the things that make me feel like it was the best thing I did for my playing. And then a few of the downsides. I'm not gonna play a tribute Slayer band anytime soon, and probably wouldn't be able to. I don't think I could learn to do that stuff again, or I don't think I would have the time and motivation to. And that's it. So anybody have any questions or anything to add, feel free. And if you hear my playing and say, I don't want to sound like that, I should probably keep using a pick, then I can understand that too. That's that's a perfectly good path. And like I said, I really do think it is one of the best things to happen to my playing for all the reasons listed, and also because it made me draw a line in the sand to cut out things in my playing that I wanted to leave behind and solely work on things that were where I wanted to go. Until the next time, whether you're playing with a pick, playing with your fingers, or using pick approximation technique that you heard here first, you enjoy your guitar vacation. Later.